Welcome and thanks for joining us. My guest today is Jim Smid, the DoD IC Field CTO at Palo Alto Networks. Jim, thanks for joining me.
Great. Thanks for having me.
And Jim, just to get the conversation started here, tell me a little bit more about how AI is changing cybersecurity.
Sure. I mean, we all know that AI has really evolved a lot over the last few years, and that it really manifests in a lot of different ways. Artificial intelligence isn't new. We've been using artificial intelligence even in cybersecurity for some time. Palo Alto Networks put our first malware protection devices in back in 2013. So this whole idea of being able to very quickly and easily be able to identify not only known attacks, but to understand how they behave using machine learning and data. So this has evolved into everything from now machine learning, but also into generative AI and automation and other attacks. So we have to be a lot more nimble to not only put our defensive capabilities together, but to understand how our adversaries are potentially harnessing the power of artificial intelligence against us.
Well, that's a great point because for all of the opportunities of AI for cyber defense, there are those adversaries looking to use these very same tools against agencies out there. So, how are adversaries looking to benefit from AI?
Well, I think the amount of information. So at the end of the day, artificial intelligence is about the data, right? And do you have good data? Is it relevant? And there's so much data available today that some of our attackers are harnessing the power of artificial intelligence to crawl for information that's readily available. Do things, you think of like phishing attacks. It wasn't that long ago that you could really easily spot a phishing attack. It had grammar that was not good. It had potentially spelling errors. It didn't use language in a way that seemed like a real person. But now these have become so sophisticated that not only has the grammar and the vocabulary and everything really improved, but they may know very specific things about you, what you like, who you've seen, where you've been. And by adding that kind of information into these attacks, they become very difficult to spot.
Okay, and so this has been a little abstract here. Can you give us a couple of examples of how Palo Alto is using AI? What are some case studies? What are some use cases of that being put into the field?
Yeah, so artificial intelligence is really inherent to everything we do from Palo Alto Networks. So every single one of our tools and then across the platform. So the platform, again, it's about the data. So the platform is designed so that all the data can be used by all the tools. And you've got to be able to do for anomaly detection and things like that. You're going to need that telemetry information from a lot of different tools and be able to put that into a way you can really understand what is baseline behavior, whether that's for an application, whether it's for a user, whether it's for your network, whether it's for devices. So really every tool, the Palo Alto Networks umbrella of products is around networks. So a lot of people are familiar with our firewalls, very prevalent in everything we do with our firewalls. So I mentioned malware protection, but think about things like IoT devices. This is a threat vector that is really important for a lot of our customers. That's where a lot of these breaches are coming from. So the ability to very easily identify everything you have on your network and understand where those potential threats might be coming from. Our advanced URL, DNS, advanced wildfire, all of those are inherent to what we do with our network side. And you think about cloud, a lot of our customers have software factories. They're beginning to develop applications that are container-based. They're deploying those. And you think about the idea of potentially introducing a vulnerability that a library or something that you got open source and that potentially making it into a containerized environment, that can explode in terms of the attack surface that you've introduced. So shifting that back into this from code to cloud, our Prisma Cloud products really look at everything there to determine, first of all, do you have vulnerabilities and how do I keep them from going into your production network? But also if I'm creating brand new applications, how do you baseline what those should look like and how they behave for anomaly detection? So again, the second layer of our overall platform. And then the third piece is really the SOC. And I think artificial intelligence is more important than ever in the SOC. The SOC, the ability to look at the amount of data you have coming at you as an analyst, it's unmanageable without having really artificial intelligence and having automation and orchestration tools so that you can sort through the noise and find what's really important in your environment. And that's inherent in all the tools we have, not only our new XIM tool, which is really taking artificial intelligence and putting it into the security operations domain and based completely on artificial intelligence, but also our automation and orchestration engine with XOR. So you have to be able to share data between the tools. You have to have automation. You have to have these playbooks and the capability to make those actionable.
Okay, got it. And just given the evolution of the technology here, it seems like this is just a race to see who can stay on top of this technology better, the agencies or the adversaries looking to get into them. In terms of understanding that threat landscape and the increasing complexity of everything, what proactive measures can agencies and organizations take to continuously monitor and mitigate for this new era of automated threats?
Well, I think it's really about taking your security operations team and making them behave where they're going for as much automation as possible. You can have a goal of 100% automation, but in order to strive for that, there's new attacks coming in every day. Every day you need to get better. So the ability of harnessing somebody like Palo Alto Networks, we have all the telemetry information. We have dozens of years of experience and the data, and we understand how these attacks come in. But then to be able to take the overwhelming amount of data and really turn that into more actionable intelligence. At the end of the day, the only thing that really matters is the mean time to detect and the mean time to remediate something that has happened in your network. And if you don't use tools like those, you can't measure those in a way that's effective, right? We use our own SOC, we use our own tools, and we're able to do mean time to detect and mean time to respond in seconds. And you manage those in seconds and rather than minutes. And every day your SOC needs to get smarter by harnessing those automation tools and making sure you're not doing the same manual activities day in and day out.
Yeah, the operative word here really seems to be that speed of detection.
For
To
sure.
that point, as the cybersecurity threats continue to evolve more rapidly, how can organizations make sure they're detecting these threats in real time and also preventing them fast enough?
Well, again, it comes back to data. Data science problems always come to, do you have relevant data? And is all that data able to be correlated? So I think that speaks to the strength of the Palo Alto platform. Our tools are integrated together. How do I correlate my applications, my users, my devices, what's happening on my network? I mean, think about the zero trust model. How do I have all those pieces integrated together so that I can really determine if something is relevant and I can correlate those data between them? So it's being able to get the data, to normalize the data, to sort through the data very quickly, and then to have actionable intelligence and to start automating things. A lot of our tools are built to really make the operators themselves more efficient. And think about things like our AI ops tools for making best practices, for automating, looking at what's happening on the network. Our Expanse tool, another part of our operations center, your attack surface itself. How do you automate? A, looking at what the attack surface looks like, but B, how do you find things that are misconfigured? How do you find things that are known vulnerabilities, whether that's configuration or whether it's patching, things like that, and automate the ability. So you really work at those things at machine speed. Our Expanse tool really harnesses the power of artificial intelligence to not only determine where your attack surface vulnerabilities are, but also to automatically take some of the low-hanging fruit and to close those vulnerabilities for our operators.
Well, Jim, I think we covered a lot of ground here, but once again, I'd like to thank today's guest, Jim Smid, the DoD IC Field CTO at Palo Alto Networks. I'm your moderator, Jory Heckman, and you're watching Federal News Network. Now, let me send you back to the studio for more on the AI and data exchange.